Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to make your own image files using Railpro's Railpro Assistant program as well as image editing software. With Railpro's new software that is available, you are now able to create your own image files as well as sound files, light effects, projects, and other things. But for today's tutorial, we will focus only on creating your own pictures that can go on the controller. So I have here a picture that I took of my model, BNSF 1973. I am using Adobe Photoshop Elements 15. You can use a number of different programs for this. If you don't have Photoshop Elements or the full Photoshop, you can go online and download a program called GIMP, GNU Image Manipulation Program. It is free and open source, so this will do basically everything that Photoshop will do, at least with what we need it for. I will be using Photoshop Elements, like I said, since that is what I'm used to. When you take a picture of your model, ideally you want it on a background that contrasts with the model itself. It makes it easier to clean things up. I took this one outdoors and I have it sitting on some white paper. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go up here to Image, and I'm going to rotate it just slightly because we are a little bit canted to the left, and to double check that I'm lined up, I'll put on the grid, and we're close enough. Okay, so now that that's done, we'll go ahead and click over here on crop, and let's go ahead and bring this into a more manageable level. Doesn't need to be terribly precise here. And then we'll go ahead and get this cropped. Alright, so now I have this to work with. Let's zoom that in so we can see it better. Now in order to start selecting the background, we'll go to the magic wand tool, and this will select large areas that are easy for it to find. In order to increase the area, you're going to hold down Shift. You can see how that little wand now changes to a plus, and you just click on areas, and let's make everything as easy as possible for us later on down the road. There you go. Very good. Okay, so we've got the majority of it here now. You can see there's a few spots like over here on the handrails where it kind of messed things up a little bit. But this is all easily fixed. So in order to do this, we're going to zoom all the way in so we can see things better. There we go. Okay, now I will go and use the lasso tool, which is again up here by the magic wand. Remember to hold down Shift to add to your selection border, and we'll just use this and just kind of get some rough areas here, take away some of this extra stuff that we don't need. If we want to add back, like in this area for the step, hold down Alt, and you can add it back fairly easily there. Same thing for the handrails. These are a little bit more delicate, but gives you a general idea of what you can do with that. I like to keep my things as clean as possible here, so I want to make sure I get a good outline of the trucks and the wheels. Whoops, used the wrong button there. An easy way to do this is go to the marquee tool, and you can change it to a rectangle and just kind of add it across. We'll go back and we'll fix these wheels here in a second. This just gives you a quick rough and dirty. Kind of work along the fuel tank. This part here kind of cut in a little bit. Actually, that's a shadow. So we'll go all the way along the lower border of the fuel tank. And we'll get it close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Alright, let's go back over to the wheels here. In order to fix this, we'll go back onto the elliptical tool. Again, minus, and you can just kind of line it up with the wheel, and that'll get us close enough to what we need. There you go. So we can clean up this other stuff right down here a little bit later. But you'll go all the way around the picture of the locomotive and do the same thing, just making sure that everything is clean the way we want it to be. We can see that this right here is a little bit too far, so I'll clean that up. Again, going back to my rectangle tool to get the nice flat lines here. Okay, now I've got everything all selected, and you can see it zoomed out. Everything is where it needs to be. So now that I've got it to this point, I will just press delete, and that will delete the background. We'll go up to select and deselect. Also Control D will do the same thing. So there you go. You've got most of what you need right here. Now when you go to Railpro, the Railpro Assistant, you can click on Pictures and select here to edit. Right down here it will tell you what format you need. It has to be BMP 480 by 180 and 24 bits per pixel. So right now this is not in BMP format, and everything else is also incorrect as well. So let's go ahead and go up to Image, and we will resize the image down to a width of 480. Okay. Now the next thing we'll do is let's go to canvas size. Select it to pixels. We have 480. This will have to be 180. There you go. So now we can zoom all the way in, and there you have it. Everything is at 480 by 180. Now in order to save this as BMP, we'll go up here, Save As. Right now it's selected on JPEG, so let's change that to BMP. We'll name it as the locomotive, BNSF 1973. Select 24-bit, Windows, done. So we'll go now back to Railpro. So you're on the Railpro Assistant, click on Pictures, click on Edit, Import Picture. So you're going to now go through until you find where you have this picture saved. Okay, now that you have the picture saved, you can load it onto Railpro. You will open Railpro Assistant and click down here on Pictures, and then you will click here to edit. Import the picture. I put mine on the desktop so it's easy to find. There it is. And it has shown up now in my list. If I did not have it in the correct format with the right width and height, then it would not be able to import. So it's all there. The small C and F at the end of the file designates this as a customer file and not something that Ring Engineering has created. So now that it's there, we will exit the page, click back on Pictures, and you'll see it here in the list. I can click Add, and it will now put it on the list to download to the controller. So over to the controller now. On the main page you will click on Tools, Software Update, and then click on the big USB button in order to download what is in this list over here. Now once this is on your controller, either on the simulator, which I have here, or on a handheld controller, this can now be loaded onto the locomotive. Okay, now that we've reached this point, the picture is now loaded onto the hand controller. You will go here to Tools, Update Software, and Copy File. Select the product that you want to copy it to. We're going to BNSF 1973 up here on the top. Select the file, picture, and this will go through all the pictures loaded on this controller. BNSF 1973. Let it load. As soon as it loads, we'll go and select the locomotive in the locomotive screen, and in the Adjust Settings tab we'll be able to load the picture onto the locomotive. Okay, so now that it's loaded, exit page, Tap on Locomotives, select BNSF 1973. You can see here that it has the standard Ring Engineering generic picture. Click on the Settings tab over here on the left, and right where it has the picture there, this is where you change it. So you'll touch the picture and it will pull up whatever is loaded onto this locomotive, BNSF 1973, and it will take a minute to change it over and it will automatically save. Now you can see that I have the picture loaded onto the screen, and I apologize it doesn't show up very well on this camera, but colors are accurate in real life, and that's all that it takes in order to get your own custom pictures onto your locomotive modules.